Can the Browns make it to the Super Bowl in 2021? You know I think so. We're going to talk about it today some more. Let's go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Sports Sanctuary. Today, I'm back again to rap it all you dog pound faithful fanatics because I want to get back to talking about the Cleveland Browns and some of the things I think they can do to become legitimate Super Bowl contenders in the 2021 season, something they haven't been able to do in the entire history of the franchise. This is the third video in a series of 5 that I'm putting together leading up to the start of the NFL free agency, so I can give my thoughts on some of the ways that I would look to improve the Browns in the upcoming NFL season if I was the general manager of the team, the one calling the shots, you know? So with that being said, today I want to focus on the defensive secondary and talk about some of the things that I saw with my eye that I think needs to be addressed. And this time when I say it needs to be addressed, I definitely mean that in a way that insinuates the secondary was horrible in 2020. And when I say horrible, I mean horrible. Holy shit. Going back through the film of this season and watching the secondary is like watching a train wreck happen over and over since the Browns pass coverage basically got lit up by the worst quarterbacks of all through the season, and the good quarterbacks scorched us. I mean, there was a game where the Jags second string quarterback Mike fucking Glennon threw for 235 yards, completed 57% of his passes, and passed for 2 touchdowns. Another example of terrible pass coverage from the linebackers and defensive backs came against Mason Rudolph in the last game of the regular season, where Rudolph threw for 315 yards, completed 56% of his passes, and threw for 2 touchdowns. And as an example of what I'm trying to tell you guys, I want to go back to the game film and show you guys a quick illustration of what the secondary looked like over the 2021 season. My first example, I'm pulling from the playoff game against the Chiefs. It's the first quarter, right at the beginning of the game, so the score is 0-0. It's second and 3, and this was a huge part of the drive that led to a TD run by Patrick Mahomes a couple plays later. As you can see from the illustration, the Browns come out on a 4-3 cover 1 robber man coverage, which is kind of ridiculous of a play call if you ask me, because you're asking Kevin Johnson to line up with Tyreek Hill, one of the fastest players in the NFL, on man-to-man coverage 1-on-1. And what we're looking for here is basically Tyreek to come flying across the middle on a slant, catches it over top of the robber, goes on to burn Kevin Johnson, and makes Carl Joseph miss a tackle. And it's pretty ugly all the way down the field until they end up pushing him out at the end of the play. And like I said, it's just kind of ridiculous. If you watch, boom, like they had no chance to stop him from catching that. And if they get if Kansas City gets another block in there, Tyreek might be gone. Like you can see right here, as soon as he hikes the ball, Tyreek is gone. He's just already gone. Poor Johnson has no chance. So if you want to keep up with players like Tyreek and you want to get past them in the playoffs, you're going to have to address that problem. Another play I want to illustrate is from the Jags game. The Browns were on the road this game, and they were leading the game at this point, but they wouldn't after this play. It was 10-6. The Jags have the ball on their own 46-yard line. It's 1st and 10, and it's the second quarter. And this is where the game kind of got really contentious because Jacksonville they got into the lead. It started going back and forth, and it was really close to all the way down to the wire from there. The Browns basically came out in another 4-3 cover 3, which they've been getting burnt in all year long. And it's a cover 3 buzz, so that means they're sending a 5-man pass rush. The pass goes to Colin Johnson. At the top of the screen, you'll see who basically does a big dig route across the middle of the field, burns Carl Joseph and Terrence Mitchell, among others, gets a touchdown play out of it. And to add insult to injury, the same cover 3 would get burned by the same play, same formation, again the week after this game against the Titans, who made a 43-yard gain and then eventually scored a touchdown off the same exact play. It's crazy to me how you can break down the film from week to week, and you can see how defenses are looking at these teams when they're going to play them, and how defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators are breaking down games because they basically saw that this team was weak against play action. They saw them come out in the cover 3. They're like, shit, Boom. They probably saw this from earlier in the season, and the Titans see this game, and they run the same exact play, and get the same exact result. The bad news doesn't stop there either. All it takes is a little research on Pro Football Focus, and you'll quickly see that statistically speaking, the Browns were the 22nd ranked defense in pass coverage. ESPN had the defense as a whole ranked as 17th, which is kind of middle of the pack, but the pass coverage of that 17th defense was also ranked 21st in points allowed. They were 22nd in yards allowed per game, and they were 19th in interceptions. All categories that we rank towards the bottom of the league in, which means in a nutshell, there were only about 10 to 12 teams who were worse than the Browns in all of these categories all season long. Hell, just looking at the quarterbacks in our own division, the secondary gave up over 1,600 yards, 13 touchdowns, and only got one interception, which came against Mason fucking Rudolph in the last game of the season. What's even more crazy is that 700 yards of that 1,600 came from Joe Burrow alone. So that's going to be a problem for us in the future. But if all that's not enough to convince Browns Nation that we need some corners and some safeties, then I don't know what is. All I know is that I do not want to see Sendejo play another down for the Cleveland Browns. Notable free agent corners and safeties on the market this year include Richard Sherman, Jason Verrett, and Marshawn Lattimore, who I'd really like to see come back to Ohio since he's a Buckeye and he's a Cleveland native. So, but having said all that, at the end of the day, I want to know what you guys think about the Browns and their secondary issues. Do you think the Browns need to spend some major money on this unit in this offseason, or do you think they need to spend the money elsewhere? Who are some of the free agents you'd like to see them sign? Let me know in the comment section down below. Let's talk Browns football, baby. You know what it is. If you found any value in this video, again, drop a like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. It really helps it out. Other than that, I got nothing else for you guys, and I'll catch you next time. All right? Peace.